Fight fans, fight fans, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. And, you know, it's crazy. I guess this is Lennox Lewis Day. I notice a lot of fighters that retire, they have a big voice. I guess that's the need to stay relevant in the sport due to the lack of physical altercations, or physical energy that they put into the ring, and they no longer can do that no more. And Lennox Lewis is no exception. We've heard it from Sugar Ray. We've heard it from Floyd Mayweather Jr. We've heard it from Roy Jones. He just actually retired, thank God. So, Lennox Lewis. I guess this is Lewis Day because actually I'm uploading one now about Lennox Lewis. But this here is another attack at Anthony Joshua. Look, I don't see what Lewis's deal is. You got to ask yourself this question. Why are you so opinionated about Anthony Joshua? You're supposedly your countryman. You fought for Canada, Jamaican born, Canada, Britain, whatever. All right. Well, supposedly that's your countryman. So why are you so adamant on that he's ducking, that he needs to stop worrying about money, that he doesn't want to fight Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua? He's protected. You've heard all these things, and he hasn't let up. So you have to ask yourself, okay, let's look at some facts. He's close friends with Deontay Wilder. He's taught this guy how to throw a jab. He ain't listen because he still don't really know how to throw a jab. You know what I mean? He don't know how to throw a jab. So he didn't listen to that lesson. They were together at the Jack Johnson celebration, the pardon. Lennox Lewis was at the PBC event, right? Hosting fighters. So, who else fights for PBC? Deontay Wilder. So I don't think, honestly, that Lennox Lewis is doing that personally now. Maybe a little bit. I can't say 100%. I think it's part business, it's part personal, part jealousy, part business pushing. He's pushing the PBC. He has to promote the PBC. And how do you do that? You have to discredit people that are not from that stable, okay? And that's what's happening. Deontay Wilder's, he's been doing it. He's actually been successful doing it, right? He's got a pay-per-view out of the deal. He didn't win, but he still got a pay-per-view, right? Lennox Lewis, if he's getting checks from PBC, and then he's half jealous of AJ anyway, because that's how I honestly feel. I think you don't talk about your countryman like that, this much. Like, if you're going to make a statement, make a statement. But why would you feel you have to go to everyone that will listen to you and say something bad about the person that is from your country? Like, I don't get that. I don't understand that. You're pushing something. And what you're pushing, you have to get a guy which have surpassed you in your own country, right? AJ's passed this guy. You know what I'm saying? In notoriety and fame and fortune and a lot of things. Honestly, I don't know about fortune because, Lennox Lewis did fight a gang of times, but probably so he's making more money than him. You know what I mean? So if you compare the 22 fights to Anthony Joshua versus Lennox Lewis, I don't know, 40 some odd fights, yeah, it's probably a lot more. But of course, you can argue this is a different time, so we make more or whatever. I'm not getting into that. But what I will say, Lennox Lewis knows that Anthony Joshua is loved and admired, and he didn't get that. And that's what I feel. I feel half of that as, well, you know what? I want to do it anyway. I want to, I want to discredit this guy because I don't feel this guy deserves what I fought so hard to get when I was around. And I believe that. And the other part is PBC's paying him, so, hey, I can go along with it. So, it's a double whammy for me. You know what I mean? He can hate and participate at the same time. You know what I'm saying? He can talk shit and get a check. You know what I mean? You can discredit your countryman and get paid for doing that, jumping on the other team. You know what I mean? Siding with the enemy, so to speak, right? So that's what we have with Lennox Lewis. So it's not a big surprise, because he makes it painfully obvious, all these interviews that he does, and he talks nothing about Joshua. And he mentioned, he talks everything about Joshua, let me rephrase, but speaks nothing about Deontay. You know what I'm saying? If I could hear Lennox Lewis critique Deontay Wilder once, okay? One time, I would be satisfied. You know what I mean? This could only be a hypothesis at that point. But no, it's pretty obvious to me. You say nothing about Deontay Wilder. You don't criticize them. You don't. All those facts are already out. So it's ludicrous for him, being a businessman, not to know those facts. He knows that. Okay, I know what Deontay Wilder was getting, right? I know what his standard of pay is. And I know what the standard of Joshua's pay is. You know what I mean? And Joshua's team has offered him a substantial amount of money that is a lot more. What would, and really what would make sense, really, if they showed Deontay no love, they would say, all right, we'll offer you $2 million to fight us. You know what? What did you make last fight? Okay, we'll offer you 2.5. You made that. In the Ortiz fight, we're going to offer you 3. Take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying? But they offered you, 5 times more than that. 12.5. And what happened? Oh, slave wages. Right? So, but like if they didn't want to show you love, they could have offered you that. $4 million. That's just like if Deontay and Shelly were actually really willing to do negotiations, just sit down, and then Eddie says, okay, all right, we'll offer you $4 million. That's what your guarantee was, plus an upside. You know what I'm saying? That's showing no love. That's showing someone that you don't give a damn about them or them getting paid at all. You know what I mean? But it's fair based on the standards of what they made. So Lennox Lewis knows all this. He hasn't talked about any business numbers, any figures or anything. He's just, oh, well, Joshua, I feel he's ducking because, he's protected in England. That's all he says. He doesn't want to fight. He likes to fight for the British public. But he's saying, he keeps continuously saying the same thing, right? That's all he does, and that's all he's been doing. So people relax. He works for the enemy. He's going to constantly say these type of things. So when you hear it, it's no really need to report it unless something is productive coming out of it. Unless he shows some insight on saying something that will help the progression of the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only thing, and that's the only reason that we should even mention Lennox Lewis, okay? Mr. BT Sports, Mr. Host for PBC. You know what I mean? He's like a freelancer. Is he out of money? Because he's doing this, he's doing that. He's all over the place. Mr. X Dreads is all over the place. Big up Lewis. Cash out Lewis. That should be your name, because that's all you're doing. You're cashing out because you're selling out. Which is whatever, he might need the money. I don't know, I'm just reporting what I hear. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Lennox Lewis. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been counterpunched. Peace.